Very, very grim faces in the Cabinet Committee on Security meeting. I'm going to show those visuals to you on your screen right now. You can see the facial expressions of the senior members of the Modi Sarkar. Arun Jaitley coming back as Finance Minister. This is the first meeting he's attending after his return from the United States. Gaurav, look at the face of the Prime Minister. That face by itself is sending a very stern message, Gaurav.
It indeed is, Rahul. A very, very strong message being sent out to Pakistan. And it's also very symbolic. You have the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, apostle of peace, apostle of non-violence. So you have Mahatma Gandhi in the backdrop. You have stern faces in the foreground. 37 lives lost, and this cannot be business as usual. I've been speaking to top sources in the government, and they say this clearly is India's red line crossed. But once again, one thing is very clear. There will be no knee-jerk reaction, no immediate military response, Rahul, is what sources are telling me. There will be a comprehensive national response on ground.
Okay, so let's just take our viewers through who all were part of this Cabinet Committee on Security meeting and what the options really before India are. So we had, you can see in those images already, the political leaders who were present in this meeting. This is the apex body for decision making on all matters military in this country. Chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is where the sanction for the last surgical strikes came from. This is where the defense establishment, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force and the National Security Advisor will get political clearance for whatever action they intend to take. Then you've got Union Home Minister Rajnath Singh, who is sitting right next to the Prime Minister. Apart from them, also present is Nirmala Sitharaman, who was in Sweden, Gaurav.
Yes.
She's cut her visit short and she's back in India now. Sushma Swaraj, India's External Affairs Minister, and huge response, Gaurav, from every other country. China hasn't spoken. Pakistan is in denial. Everybody else is backing us.
Rahul, Pakistan's response has actually been very confused. It actually put out a press release, withdrew that press release and put out another press release, and then it's calling it violence. It's not even calling it terror. Pakistan in denial.
Arun Jaitley back from the United States. His health hopefully improving. He is now Finance Minister once again. This is the first meeting after his return that he is stepping in his old position as India's Finance Minister. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, his role very crucial because it is on him that the onus lies to plan what to do and how to execute. Working with the service chiefs, planning what to do, he is the man who will have to take the tactical call on where to go in and what to do.
Absolutely, Rahul, and he's the man who's also spearheading our talks with China. So China's response extremely crucial. India's literally putting China on notice, saying, this is the time you need to be clear where you stand.
And remember, Ajit Doval is the man who was in the aircraft of Air India, which went and dropped Maulana Masood Azhar to Kandahar. He has said that this was the biggest mistake of his life. This is an opportunity for him to fix his biggest mistake. What will he do? Everyone is watching. Then there is General Bipin Rawat, Chief of the Indian Army Staff. All the special forces report into him. The Indian Army Special Forces, that's one option. But the problem is that option was exercised the last time as well, and that's the one option that Pakistan will be anticipating the most.
So whether it's an artillery response at the line of control or special forces surgical strike, Pakistan's anticipating that. This has to be bigger than that because we've been hurt far worse now.
And you have to change the dynamic.
You have to change the dynamics.
You can't repeat what you did the last time. So, if you've seen Uri and you think that's what's going to happen, well, it's their decision, but you can't do what the enemy expects. Then there is Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanoa, Chief of the Indian Air Force. Remember, Fali Major, soon after the 26/11 attacks, this is to the Manmohan Singh government. The Indian Air Chief at that time had made a presentation detailing the option of attacks from Indian soil. So not crossing the line of control, from Indian soil, Indian fighter aircraft, using the best precision ammunition that they've got, bombing Pakistani targets. That was the option that was suggested. That time Manmohan Singh didn't have the courage to bite the bullet. In his wisdom, he decided not to. That option exists. Then there is Admiral Sunil Lamba. All these forces will be on a high state of deployment. There's a dynamic that's been unleashed. Everyone is on the highest state of alert at this time.
The Indian Air Force says using air power is not escalation. That was old thinking, that if you use air power, you're escalating the war. Now Indian Air Force says Air Force should be the first responders in any
that's
crisis.
what the United States would do.
Exactly.
That's what Israel would do. I mean, Israel, not necessarily, but the United States, before sending their boys on the ground, they would use the Air Force to pound terror targets if they were attacking a country like Afghanistan. Will the Modi government this time use air power? It hasn't been done in the past. We've always been slow in using air power. As a country, we've always been slow in using air power. Will this time be different? Then there is Lieutenant General Anil Chauhan. He's the Director General of the Military Operations. He runs the DGMO. He's the one who has the hotline with the Pakistani DGMO. He's also the one who's on a moment by moment moving the chess pieces on the board. He's the one who's ensuring, talking to the field commanders on the ground and ensuring that whatever operation it is that they are planning and executing is rolled out the way they want.
The nerve center of all military operations in Army headquarters, the most protected place in Army headquarters is the Military Operations Directorate. That's actually like the heart of the Indian Army, and that's like really beating very fast.
He wouldn't have had much sleep last night.
He wouldn't have had any sleep last night.
He wouldn't have had much sleep. He has to go to the Army Chief with options. Option A, option B, option C, and then the Army Chief needs to pick one. Go to the NSA, finally go to the Prime Minister. Then there is Anil Dashmana. He's the Chief of the Research and Analysis Wing. Huge capacities built up in Pakistan over the last 5 years in comparison with our capacities in the past, Gaurav. So that's an option as well. You know, instead of sending your own troops in, using agents in Pakistan to try and take down Maulana Masood Azhar, for example.
Exploiting fissures within Pakistan, and RAW is well within its capabilities. It has the capacity. Exploit fissures in Pakistan to bleed Pakistan.
And get the official sanction and mandate to do so. Absolutely. Apart from Anil Dashmana, the RAW chief, there's also Rajiv Jain, the Intelligence Bureau chief, and I know on good authority he has a lot of respect in the establishment, has the direct ears of the Prime Minister, the National Security Advisor. Everybody looks up to him. So far they've been very successful, you know, in his term. And generally, you know, they've been quite successful. But, you know, I just discussed last week with an IB officer that you'd been fortunate and you'd been very on the ball, but then that can change at any time, and it has.
So, you know, intelligence agencies have been on the ball. Their biggest task is to clean up the house within. Who were these elements who were radicalizing Adil Ahmed Dar and elements like him in the Kashmir Valley? So cleaning up the valley.
No, that's one challenge, Gaurav.
Some elements.
The other thing is, how do 200 kilograms of RDX enter Kashmir? How is it? And think about this for a moment. Everyone who's watching, you've got Ahmed Adil Dar in a very small lane with his vehicle parked there for hours before the CRPF convoy moves. When the CRPF convoy has passed a fair distance, he hits the soft middle belly of the CRPF, which means he had eyes on the ground, he had ears on the ground, he had local support. There's a full paraphernalia that's functioning. Plus 200 kilograms at the very least of high quality explosive, possibly RDX, cannot enter Kashmir just like that. It's coming in small tranches. So there's a lot for the security establishment also to look at. If this was coming in and you had an idea that this is happening, why could you not stop it?
So there was a fair idea. Some bits were known. They had succeeded in foiling 3 attempts. 9th of February was when the terrorists were planning to strike. That's the day that's the day Afzal Guru was hanged. So, you know, Jaish-e-Mohammed had sent in their terrorists to ensure something happens on the 9th. They succeeded to foil the 9th attempt. Unfortunately, it didn't succeed on the 14th.
Okay, apart from that, the CRPF Director General is also there. Lieutenant General Harinder Singh, the Director General of Military Intelligence, also giving crucial inputs to this Cabinet Committee on Security meeting, and Rajiv Bhatnagar from the CRPF coming in just because this is the CRPF that's been attacked. And it's very unfortunate that it's the CRPF which suffers the biggest casualties. It happened in Dantewala in Chhattisgarh, where 76 people were killed in Gadchiroli by the Naxals, and now 37 people in one terror attack.
In both cases, unfortunately, the CRPF was not following standard operating procedure. Of course, weather is to blame for one part, but why was a 78 vehicle convoy moving together with 2,500 men? That's almost never done. I mean, you're such a huge target, you know, a long tail, and that's the tail that the terrorists targeted.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.